Cheers, guys. Epix 911, welcome to the Saturday, June 10th, 2017 edition of VR News. Really excited about this upcoming Wednesday, guys. There's a virtual reality arcade that I found out about here in Halifax. I'm going to go visit the facility, visit the employees there, including the owner who I spoke to on the phone today. Excited about that, not just for the virtual reality content. That's going to be pretty cool, but also it was apparently a vintage arcade before they turned it into a VR facility. Any chance I got to see some old arcade machines, hell yeah, I'm there. So looking forward to that. Probably a few days after is when that video will get posted. Still working on that TransCanada one. It's huge. There's so many clips, and I try to put about an hour into it every day. It just seems like the editing job that will never end. All right, first story. This one's important. I talked about Apple a couple of times and their plans for virtual reality mentioned at their recent conference. Longtime viewer Craig Wall, with the subtlety of Thor's hammer, reminding me that I missed something very important. And then I missed that. So then he reminded me again. And this time, I'm not going to miss it. So basically, he pointed me in the direction of other important announcements that were made during that conference to allow GPUs in various configurations to work with not only new MacBooks, but MacBook models going back to 2011, as long as they have Thunderbolt ports. And there's three basic configurations. There's the developer's version with a 580 Radeon. I think it's about $500. That's the one that Craig mentioned directly. But then there's two other options, and the names of them. The first one is the Mercury Helios 3, and it's got two Thunderbolt ports. It will accept any PCI Express card that is half length, full height, double width. So that puts quite a few of the graphic cards into contention right there for virtual reality. Then they also have the Helios FX external GPU. That's another option. Both of these available second quarter of 2017. No pricing on those, but suddenly you've got options. Yes, it's external, but it takes back what I said the other day, which is, what do you do about all those Macs on the market that don't have access to that GPU because of the internal GPU not being good enough? Well, there you go. So thanks for that, Craig. Much appreciated. All right. Next up, the competitor product. Well, I consider it the main competitor to the TPCast wireless unit. Also going over the 60 frequency. This one, I got to be honest, I'm leaning a bit more towards this solution, and it's called DisplayLink. They have the entire solution. The name of it is the XR WiGig wireless VR system. They're going to be showing it off at E3, which is coming up in a couple of days. There's already events, Electronic Arts, for example, giving a press conference today, PC Gaming Show on Monday. We'll talk about that in a few minutes. But Tom's Hardware got a chance to be able to preview the DisplayLink and check out an advanced commercial copy. So it was a prototype, not commercial, but including the final chipset and hardware that would be in a commercial version. And it was Sherry L. Smith. She tested it from Tom's Guide and said there was absolutely no latency, looked smoother than the original, which is, I think, just a way of saying no noticeable difference, because I don't think it's going to be smoother, but it can definitely look as good, which is what she stated. Having the freedom of no head cords, just amazing. Now, this unit looks a little bit more bulbous, true, but according to her, there's no added weight, like real perceptible added weight from this thing, even though it looks like a massive bun on the top of your head. Apparently, it's pretty light. And you set up the transmitter station much like you would set up a lighthouse, like I've got behind me in the corner there. Left it there. That's not the final spot. It'll be that corner and that corner. But yeah, with that transmitter and that DisplayLink positioned at the top of your head, you're free to pretty much do anything, jump, as long as it's at the right height, roll around on the ground according to him because of the strategic placement on the top of your head. Occlusion, a very, very, very rare thing. So definitely excited about that. Not just because of the latency. TPCast, excellent in the latency department as well, in not introducing any added latency, but the fact that it's going to be capable of dual 4K at up to 120 hertz refresh rate. Obviously not what the Vive Rift are using, but kind of future-proofs it a little bit. The presumption being that we're going to get 4K 2018 and beyond at some point. You buy one of these units, hopefully it's future-proof and you can use it for your next HMD. So really excited about these. More excited, like I mentioned, than the backpacks. I find the backpacks cumbersome and as inconvenient in another way compared to just having cords dangling from you, right? It's a whole other level of inconvenience. Sure, you got no tether, but now you've got this bulky PC on your back. So the wireless, that's what I'm excited about. So we should find out a lot more from DisplayLink at E3. Next up, EA, they had their press conference today, pretty much the typical, and I know I get a little bit jaded with Electronic Arts because of the history with them, but I won't be on this one, other than to say, yes, it was mostly sports. No real VR, other than the mention of a division that they're opening at Electronic Arts called SEED, capital SEED, and that division is going to include research into virtual reality. They've got a bunch of information on the website, positions that they're looking for, and a clear mention that virtual reality is part of the package of what they're looking into. Other than that, nothing virtual reality mentioned, stated, or otherwise. And that's to be expected. We knew that going in that, of all the big publishers, EA probably, the least interested in virtual reality at this point. So some news there that at least they're entertaining it, hiring some people to start doing some research. Although they probably should have started that a couple of years ago. But we'll see where it leads. And as for E3's PC gaming show, so that's going to be coming up. That is going to be on Monday. I expect a pretty slow news day tomorrow as everybody in the VR world is literally going to be gearing up for E3. We know Oculus isn't going to be at the show with a booth, but there are going to be some Oculus Rift games. For example, the developer Ready at Dawn, they're going to be showing off their Rift exclusive Lone Echo, which is where you play that first sentient AI unit, Jack. Tripwire Interactive, they're going to be showing a Rift game called Killing Floor Incursion. And we're going to have Intel there with their WiGig wireless VR solution. So really interested in how all this wireless stuff is going to play out. Can't wait. All right, guys, that is it for the news on this Saturday. Like I said, expect a slower news day tomorrow, but should give me the time to finally get that gaming recap video out with all the games up to date included. Guys, have a great Saturday. Cheers as always.